Question. First, honoring Sevan and the tribe, wholeness. If you don't mind, the Galactic Center is in direct alignment in Sagittarius in December 19th. And it's a big astronomical conversation. Can you shed any light? Okay. So where I'm at right now with how days work is because, I feel like even until we go to nature and actually measure out when that beetle comes out for the first time or that plant buds for the first time, and we create our own calendar based on the movements with nature, then I don't know what planet or space or dimension we're specifically on. And that if this has actually 365 before it makes a complete turn, because stars can say anything, because at this point, there's so many satellites up there. One would have to wonder, what is the purpose? So what I'm saying is that nature is the clock. So when I feel nature inside, then I know that certain things happen around this time. So for instance, for me, as a solar being, this is really the dial back conclusion time, because yes, the sun is astronomically going into its lowest point. And so this is time to collect everything that you've experienced and actually come into a determination of what you want to project through this next anu, or year, as they call the annual, right? So it's anu. So that's the other thing. It's like this whole Sumerian thing, like there's one work right here, because I know some were asking for books. I only can give you books that's relative to exactly what we talked about today. That way, because there's a lot of books. One was called, let me see if it's on the page, because man, okay, I had just bought it, but it's basically by, let me pull it up. So this book is basically I only read parts of it. So I'm only still referring it because it seems relative to what we're going through, because a lot of these traditions and things are coming straight out of Sumeria, especially when it comes to the Western culture. So I think that rather than reading Zechariah Sitchin, because he was an initiate and they gave him a message to give to everybody, which led to the ancient aliens and all this other stuff and more chasing your tail. I feel like that if someone, if they were like looking into history, if you looked and understood more about what the Sumerian text specifically said, you can more probably understand how all this is going to play out, because they're mimicking that to the T. And the Bible is just a really bad copy of that. And the Quran too, especially the new Quran. So it's just like these traditions that they're practicing over and over and over again. So this work is, let me see. I found this work. I got to now think about where I found it. I actually purchased the book, but the book is not in. Well, actually, maybe it is in my purchase history. Give me 1 second. My orders. Digital orders. Okay. The Sumerians, their history, culture, and character by Phoenix Books. It's written by Samuel Noah Kramer. Okay, so that excerpt that I pulled earlier about Ninti, and I'll paste that here inside of both chats, that came from that work. So it seems like the author, and again, don't quote me on this because I have not read the complete book, because what happens in the Sumerian text, because they know that it's pretty much Sumerian magic that they're using on everybody, they really do work to keep not only these kind of books out of people's hands, but also to create a whole round of fictitious books that don't really tell the story, such as the Zechariah Sitchin books, which are more entertaining. But for the sheer scholar, the one who just wants to be the fly on the wall in the situation and understand what is the mode of thinking within this group, or within this culture of these people, which are clearly also still ancestors. That's the other thing. In fact, they found that especially the prominence of the blue eyes was big inside of Sumeria, because the canine actually is one of the only animals that actually can have blue eyes, like real blue eyes, right? So it kind of harkens back again to Ninti. It harkens back to that statement, must love dogs. It basically means that still for a group of people that their advent into the physical reality or culture, their advent into the physical reality was actually through the ka of what we call today the canine. And their culture is still being used today, because even in Nazi Germany, et cetera, when they were trying to find their origins, this is more of what they actually came into. So they just kind of totally went into that and re-implementing that system. And the final straw is that because it appears again in these wars that certain areas were taken over. So it appears that Serpent Clan actually took over this area inside of Babylon and had the well of Harut and Marut, or basically two entities that were carrying certain levels of knowledge in relation to magic. That this area was actually completely restricted off. So it was like it was spiritually sealed so that no one would try to wake up these entities or bring these entities back into the realm. However, during the war in Iraq, that was the first place they went. Check it. They went right to where the Well of Babylon is. And they went there and they put the tents and the tarps and all the stuff on it, and nobody knows what was going on in there. But obviously we know it's evocation time, because you'll still get somebody like Grimes who has that ability of money, power. And I'm not saying Grimes specifically, because I don't even think that thing has that much power. But I'm saying that you'll find someone in there that's still connected. I'm Sargon's great grandson, and I feel it coursing through my veins. We're going to excavate all of the ancient sacrificial temple, and then we're going to go and do a ritual there. You see, so this is what they get up to. And why that may just blow your mind, the thing about the damned, meaning that you still have a gift, you have a shine, you have a light. These being still light, they live in vortexes. You see, so you have something that they want. Like somebody always said, so what's the end game? You have something they want, and you need to protect that. And you have like a holiest of holies with yourself, meaning your body is set up like Solomon's temple. So you have a great recess and holiest of holies inside of your consciousness that will try to defend you and will try to keep anything from getting into it. But as in the real words of the Mashiach, said that in the time that when Dajjal or DJ would be on the land before the 12 or the Mahdi returns, that it would not be something that could be fought anymore by adepts, meaning that in certain tenses, there were people who had power that could fight these beings and keep these beings away from villages and families. But they said that the reason why this would be the time of a greater test was because it would be in people's minds. And so something like a spiritual master can very seldom enter into your mind and fight something for you. The only thing that we could do is give you all the knowledge and the wisdom and the strength to be able to defend yourself and to be able to set back up your fortress. You see what I mean? So, that's what we got going on.